Kyrie Irving has never been shy of media attention, whether it be on one end of the spectrum, draining a championship ceiling three over Steph Curry, or on the other end of the spectrum when he calls out teammates in press conferences. But in this scenario, how he feels about the NBA's restart in the bubble city, he is absolutely wrong, and here's why. What is up, everybody? Jacob Temple here with Amateur Hour Sports, where we give you raw and unfiltered sporting content Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. So if it is your first time here with me today and you like what you see, maybe you're interested in more insight and opinion on the sporting world, or even some informative videos on the history of sport, make sure you are subscribed to Amateur Hour Sports. So Kyrie Irving all over the media, and a lot of other players as well, such as Dwight Howard, talking about how they do not agree with the NBA restart. And this doesn't really have anything to do with the pandemic going on. It is more personal issues. Well, it's not personal issues. It's terms of the race issues and how the Black Lives Matter movement has really started to surge on finally in the last couple weeks. And obviously this is a huge issue with a lot at stake and it needs to be resolved. I have done a video on this in the past, how I feel about this. This is something that needs to change. And Kyrie Irving thinks that the best way to enact on this change is to sit out this NBA restart in the bubble city in Orlando, because he thinks that the focus needs to be on making that change rather than playing basketball. And this has caused a bit of a divide amongst NBA players. LeBron James has come out and said that, he completely intends to play, and Patrick Beverley said that whatever LeBron James wants to do, that's what we got to do. LeBron wants to play, we got to play. But Kyrie Irving is adamant that for change to really start to happen, they need to sit out. And guys like Dwight Howard have chimed in, going along with what Kyrie Irving has said. Avery Bradley as well has come up big in this one, talking about how he doesn't think the NBA should restart like this. And I really do not understand how they feel this way. Obviously, there needs to be a big focus on change being made in, the US as well as the world when it comes to equality and getting rid of systematic racism, police brutality. Obviously, humongous issues, but I don't think that halting the NBA restart can aid this. I think that, especially for the NBA athletes, for Kyrie Irving, basketball is what provides you with this platform. You are amplified because of your basketballing ability. It doesn't mean that you are solely a basketball player. Obviously, you can be so much more. LeBron James is a basketball player, and he has done so much for communities. He has done so much social work. LeBron James is, kind of epitomizes what NBA players can be. You're not just a basketball player. It's not just shut up and dribble. It has never been that. You can make a big difference while continuing to play basketball. I don't understand how stopping and halting basketball can draw more attention onto the racism issues like this. I think that continuing to play in basketball allows you to have the platform to communicate these things. I mean, the NBA has done stuff in the past. I don't think that they've done as much as they could. I think that that will change in the coming years. I think they will, even in the coming months, I think the NBA will start to make bigger differences and try to influence positivity on the world more in the coming months. But in 2014, the NBA did a lot for the Black Lives Matter movement, with players wearing the I Can't Breathe shirts before games, which drew huge attention. Guys like LeBron James wearing the I Can't Breathe shirt before the game, highlighting police brutality issues, such as the one with Tamir Rice, who was playing with a toy gun and got shot in front of his house. Michael Brown was shot in Ferguson for no reason at all, and Eric Garner was choked to death while saying I can't breathe to police, who would not stop choking him, and he eventually suffocated and died. The NBA brought a lot of attention onto these issues. Obviously, they could have done more. There's always more that you can do, but the NBA has done a great job in the past. Obviously, again, they can do more. But they've done a great job in the past of highlighting how these issues really affect the entire world, really. They want to bring big attention on it in order to make change. And that's what happens with these players. There's a reason that, athletes who are in the limelight constantly, like LeBron James, are called influencers. They have the influence to make a difference. They have an influence because of their ability to play the sport. And you can do these things simultaneously. Like Kyrie Irving, have you heard his name in the media for anything other than trying to stop the NBA's return? I haven't heard anything about Kyrie Irving really trying to strive to make a difference. Obviously, he could have been doing things, out of the media, and that's okay, but I don't see how he can't make these differences while playing the sport. If he really wants to make a difference, then, and he doesn't want to play, if he really wants to sit out of playing the rest of the NBA season to make a difference, I better see Kyrie Irving's name in the media. I better see him making big differences. Like Marcus Rashford, a striker for Manchester United in the English Premier League, a soccer player. What has he done with the English Premier League returning this week from its extended break? He has fought with British Parliament to ensure that kids who cannot get meals and rely on school-funded meals during the school year in order to eat a meal at lunch. He has fought with British government officials in order to extend this meal program into the summer so that these kids are still fed over the course of the summer. And over the course of 24 hours, this week, it just happened, over the course of 24 hours, he got Boris Johnson, the Prime Minister of England, to completely U-turn on his statement that he would not fund these meals for kids who cannot get a lunch on a regular day. Completely U-turned, and now all of a sudden these kids are going to be well fed over the course of the summer as well. The amount of money that Marcus Rashford has raised for charities to help in the likes of things like this is phenomenal. It's in the millions. And he has done this all while getting prepared for the restart of the Premier League season. We're still over a month away from the NBA restart. And Kyrie Irving doesn't think that these players can still make a difference while also getting ready and prepared to play these games. Obviously, there are guys in the media who are doing big things, who still play their sport and have to get seriously prepared for their sport, making big differences. I am not seeing that from Kyrie Irving. Maybe that will change in the future, but I really need to see some changes being made to really justify not playing, because it's proven there are athletes out there who can maintain playing their sport and also make big differences for communities and in the world as a whole. Marcus Rashford has utilized his platform, his influence and fame to make these changes happen. It can't just happen from a regular guy like myself. Like, I have a very small YouTube platform where I give my voice, but there's not a big influence there. These athletes have millions and millions of people that they have a big influence over. And the likes of Marcus Rashford, the likes of LeBron James, amongst others, can really make that change through their sport. Through the fame they get from their sport, they can influence big change on society. It is not a case of stopping to play in order to make these changes. I think that this can only hurt the changes being made because it's all of a sudden causing a divide amongst NBA players. You need to have complete unification to make the difference. Everybody is stronger in numbers, but the divide amongst NBA players can really hinder these changes from happening. It can take away, it can be a big distraction to the real changes that NBA players are trying to make, and take it away and put the focus on this divide, people not wanting to play in this bubble city. Various soccer players have used their platform to really show their opinions and belief and have influence on people. Guys like Jadon Sancho scoring a goal, lifting up his shirt and showing a dedication for George Floyd on his undershirt. You have guys like Marcelo and Marcus Thuram, amongst many other soccer players, after scoring, putting up a fist to protest police brutality, show their support for George Floyd and the Black Lives Matter movement. It is through the sport that you have gained your influence. So by losing the sport, you lose that influence partially. Obviously, not taken away. You're obviously more than just a basketball player. You are a huge influence on society, but the influence stems from that basketballing ability, and it can grow from that basketballing ability. I think absolutely guys like Avery Bradley have the right to question what the NBA plans on doing in order to enact social change. But I don't think sitting out at this point is going to help them make these decisions. They now have to worry about all these things about players not playing when they want to have their focus on making this social change, but they can't do that at the moment because they're worried about guys like Kyrie Irving, Dwight Howard, and Avery Bradley sitting out the remainder of the season. They're putting a date in June 24th. Either you're in or you're out. You got to decide by that date. They want to be able to help, and I know that the NBA is going to attempt to make a difference in order to enact these changes. We got to give them a bit of time. Obviously, a lot on their fucking plate right now. They got to deal with the restart of the NBA on the horizon, but Give the NBA some time. I'm sure that they will start to make these differences possible. They will help influence and enact on these changes. And the athletes who are playing in these games, I know that these athletes who are going to be playing in the rest of the NBA season will be showing their support for the Black Lives Matter movement, will be doing what they can to enact change. And it won't just be on the court, it will be off the court as well. But that influence is the key word, will be amplified as a result of playing in the NBA playoffs. The influence will be taken to a whole new level, especially with all NBA players unified. That is the most important thing. Bottom line, Kyrie Irving, whoever, if you want to sit out to focus on making these social changes, I gotta see some action being taken. You can't just be on the talk about it. I really need to see proper social change coming from you. I know just because it's not in the media doesn't mean it's not there. Kanye West quietly doing a lot of things for the Black Lives Matter movement. You don't see his name in the media for it really at all, but there are athletes out there getting prepared for their season and multitasking. They're getting prepared athletically, and they're also making differences in the lives of other people, making positive changes. I don't see why it can't happen here, but if you don't want to have the sport to multitask with, I better see some differences coming out of you. There's a lot of divide when it comes to how you feel about this. Bottom line is, I want to see changes being made. I want to see racism and systematic racism, segregation completely eliminated. Police brutality completely eliminated from society. I just don't think that the smartest way to go about enacting this change is for NBA players to sit out the rest of the season. As long as it does not pertain to the outbreak or any virus, as long as it does not pertain to that, I want to see changes and I want to see players playing in. If players sit out because they don't feel safe in terms of their health, in terms of the virus, that is fine. But to sit out in regards to, protesting police brutality, this is the opposite effect. I think that the positive effect would be playing in, amplifying your influence to make that change. Hopefully this message comes across as intended. I don't mean to be, hostile towards guys who want to sit out to make a change. Good on people for trying to make a change. I just think that the best way to enact this change is not the way that they see. Anyways, please like the video. If you like, comment how you feel about this scenario, and make sure you are subscribed to Amateur Hour Sports for more content just like this as well. Hit that notification bell. We post 4 times a week on Amateur Hour Sports. Stay up to date with all that content. At the end of the day, I believe what I say, and if you disagree, that's okay. We'll see you again next time.